And on this video, we're going to be taking a look at the MUCAR 892BT Bi-Directional Scanner. First, I'll show you the service functions that it supports, then we'll take it out to the vehicle so we can scan it and pull some codes from it, including live data. And then I'm also going to show you the vehicle coverage list, that way you can see if your vehicle is going to be supported by this scanner. And I have placed a link in the description down below to this scan tool in case you want to get one for yourself. And the scanner comes in on this semi-rigid case. We get a couple of accessories on this side and a couple of accessories on the other. The scanner features an 8-inch touchscreen and there is a fairly large power button on the top, which makes it easy to locate when wearing mechanics gloves, and also full-size USB port and USB-C. Also notice that on the ends of the scanner you got this MUCAR logo, and this is all rubber again right here, and this is going to help to have a good grip on the scanner when you're using it, but also for drop protection. Now remember, this part right here, which is aluminum, and this part right here, those parts are exposed, so if the scanner falls this way, you're gonna be okay. But if a scanner falls somewhere like this, you'll probably damage the scanner, so that's something you want to keep in mind. And I noticed this with other MUCAR scanners that I have reviewed. They have a very nice, elegant finish with that aluminum on there. Just gotta remember, be careful with each of these ends since they're not protected. Now there is a kickstand, and the kickstand also feels like metal, probably some kind of aluminum that helps to stand the scanner like that. And notice that the wireless dongle attaches to the back magnetically. Great idea, keeps both the scanner and the dongle together. Moving over to the rest of the accessories, we get the power adapter, which does have replaceable faceplates, that way you can use this in different parts of the world. USB-A to USB-C cable is also included, along with this F chassis adapter normally used with BMW vehicles, and then this USB to Ethernet adapter and also an Ethernet cable. And let's begin with the maintenance tab, because this is where you have the service functions. And to navigate the service functions, you can just tap on the icon and it'll tell you on here in the bottom what the service function does, or you can tap on here and it's going to display all the service functions together with the description of them. And I'll scroll through here, that way you can see if the service function that you need is included in this scanner. And updates are found under the Upgrade tab, and there are two types of updates: vehicle diagnostic software updates and maintenance software. And the updates are free, and you can see on here that the updates are listed by make, so you can download individual ones, or my preferred option is to do all of them with the Upgrade icon. The scanner also keeps track of the vehicles that have been tested under the History tab, and on the Report tab, here's where you will find reports. Also interesting is a feedback option to submit feedback to MUCAR, and also access to the $Fix community in case you wanted to go on there to talk about the topics related to automotive, and also the AI assistant. And we'll see this function when I connect to the vehicle, but I do want to show you what it looks like if you don't connect to the vehicle. If you just had a question and you want the help of the AI to answer that, let's try this one. What is DTC, and let's see, P0141, and this particularly might be a code that somebody gave you and you don't know what it is. Let's see if the AI can figure it out. There it is. That's pretty cool that they're building this kind of technology into scanners, that way you can just directly ask the scanner and get information, and something as simple as a P0141 code telling you what it is and possible causes and symptoms of it. And let's go ahead and plug into the vehicle. You'll notice that the obd-II dongle does have an LED indicator, so you know what it's doing. And we'll begin with the auto search function, what most people know as AutoVin. This is where the scanner pulls the VIN from the vehicle, that way it can diagnose it. And we are given the following choices. Let's begin by doing a full health report on the vehicle. And here's the result of that report. 31 systems were scanned and 10 DTCs or issues were found. There are 4 of them in the TPMS system, 3 DTCs were found under Smart Key, 2 of them in Power Source Control, and 1 in Navigation System. And you can see that the rest of the systems with the green check mark, those tested out okay. And if you tap on any of the issues, you can see additional detail, including these 2 options right here. This one right here is gonna Google that issue, that way you can see if somebody else found the solution. But the AI analysis one is a new feature that I have not seen before. And here's what came back. The AI diagnostic report tells you about the code and the possible causes, but also the step to fix it. And then you can say on here whether that was helpful or not. There's also these three icons in the bottom. The first one creates a report. This guy right here can erase all the DTCs at once, and this one will rescan the vehicle. Also notice that if you tap on the name of the system, it'll give you what the system does, a small description of it, and again you can read the codes from the system. In this case, the same 4 codes we saw earlier. You can delete the codes from that system, read data from it, but also special functions that apply to that system. And instead of running a full report, you could also just go into the system that you're interested on there. You can select that on here. For example, let's go inside of ECM. It tells you again what that system does, and then it gives you the options for it. And let's start with the bottom, special functions. And here's where you can do special functions that apply to the module that we're accessing, in this case the ECM. And actuation test. This is a bi-directional scanner, so it will be able to activate and control different items on the vehicle depending on which system we're on. Again, we can read the codes, clear the codes, access freeze frame data, or also get live data from the vehicle. And here's the list of parameters that are available for this vehicle. I'm gonna go ahead and select all and hit OK. And the scanner is going to begin to pull data from the vehicle, and I can scroll through here to find the one that I'm interested in checking. And you can also change the units of measure by just tapping over here, metric or imperial, and let's look at RPMs. Tapping this guy brings it up into a graph, and tapping this icon allows me to select an additional value. And I added 2 more parameters, ambient temperature and engine fuel rate. So as you can see, you can grab up to 4 parameters on the same screen, and they're all gonna be color coded over here. That way you can see how they relate to each other. And you can always select a different parameter by tapping on that and then unchecking that parameter and then checking the one that you want, and then now you're gonna have a new parameter on here. And notice that there's also a record function. That way you can record these parameters and review them later. And there's another way to graph the parameters. I have selected 4 of them, and I'm gonna go ahead and tap the graph icon, and then they're presented on a graph but not together, each one individually in its own graph. Now again, the maximum number of parameters that you can do this with on this graphical single page is gonna be 4. The customize setting allows you to see what functions can be customized on your vehicle. For example, I'm gonna go inside of power window, and here's the customization for power window control. There is a second way to diagnose a vehicle, and that is with a manual scan under the diagnose option. And here you get to tell the scanner what make you're working with. That way the scanner can identify your vehicle. And I'll scroll through here, that way you can see if your vehicle make is included in this scanner. And the mix can also be sorted out by regions. Now, what's also interesting about this function is that it can also be used to scan vehicles that are not supported by the scanner using that enhanced obd-II functionality. And we're gonna go inside of here so I can show you what that looks like. And this particular vehicle is somewhat rare, so it is not included as a supported vehicle for this scanner. However, here you notice that we can use EOBD to still access the vehicle, read emission readiness, read live data from it, freeze frame data, read the fault codes, and also clear fault codes, which are gonna clear the check engine light, and a couple more other operations. And let's go inside of read live data. And just like before, I'm gonna select all and hit OK. And notice that the live data begins coming from the vehicle. Again, even though this vehicle is not on the supported make list that the scanner supports, using obd-II, a scanning functionality that EOBD allows us to get access to those type of vehicles. And on the last section, you have access to a couple more things, but I'll switch over to this interface so you can see that. You can get remote access if you want somebody to remote into your tablet, but under gadget, here's where you have access to the internet, files, gallery, email, and YouTube. Well, let's see the video and audio performance of this device. Bidirectional scanner, which means that it can read codes from the vehicle, see live data, but it also can activate. And under module, you can see the different upgrades that are available for the scanner, such as a dedicated TPMS1, video scope, oscilloscope, printer, or Bluetooth battery tester. And under settings, you can enable a floating icon that allows you to take screenshots by tapping that. And notice how you can position that anywhere on the screen. And the second thing you can enable is a screen recorder icon. Again, it's a floating icon so you can put it anywhere you want. And if you tap that, it'll begin a screen recording. And you can also build a database of your customers under customer management and enter your business information in case you want to have that show on your reports. And on the next one, you can change the brightness, the volume of the scanner, as well as the language. And there's quite a bit of languages included in here. Screen time off time can also be customized, and also whether you want to use metric as the unit of measure by default, and also enable an additional floating icon, basically one that will give you access to tech support. And there's also this drop-down menu in case you needed quick access to brightness, volume, or enabling any of those floating icons. And I really think scanners like this that require no subscription and include free updates is gonna be the way to go. It makes no sense in my opinion to pay for updates or subscriptions when you can get those for free in this type of scanners, and I hope the rest of the industry moves in that direction. Now, one thing to point out about this scan tool is that it supports obd-II, basically vehicles that have that obd-II port typically after 1996. If your vehicle's older than that, you may not have an obd-II port, you may have a proprietary port, and MUCAR does have a scanner that can interface to those older vehicles, those pre-obd-II vehicles. That's called the V08, and I have reviewed that scanner already. I'll put a link to that review in the description down below. This scanner, the 892BT, is gonna be a good choice for those who don't need that support for the all proprietary connectors. This is gonna be for those who have an obd-II port, which became mandatory in the US in 1996. So 1996 and up, you're gonna be good to go. So I have placed a link in the description down below to this scan tool in case you wanna get one for yourself. If you guys have any other questions regarding this, please put that in the comments down below. If you found any part of this video helpful, make sure you hit the like button to support the channel, and stay tuned as I have a lot more scan tool reviews coming up. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.